Mark Yates then. Mark, second week of pre-season, I suppose, is it a case now of upping the levels a little bit and just continuing the work?
The lads are in really good shape. It's been a good 6 days so far. It just continue, make sure the hard works carries on, and we just, we've been able to, because they've come back in such good shape, to feel we've been able to concentrate more on the football side of it, which is what they all want anyway. We've got a couple of tough games coming up, so it's important we bed one or two things in straight away, and as I said, they've worked extremely hard and extremely well.
And has it been helpful actually that although it's been warm, it hasn't been absolutely baking hot? You've been able to work them properly.
Yeah, it's been. Oh yeah, absolutely. You do anyway, but it's nice that the sun's shining, but it's also nice that it's not so hot that you're protecting. So no, it's been a really good week so far.
And you mentioned friendlies start this week. Obviously, Wolves at home on the Friday night, Evesham away on the Saturday. I mean, players obviously get a little bit more excited as matches start. Is there that extra bit of buzz for the manager as well?
Yeah, without a doubt. A bit of a new group. Still got more to add, as we say. Got a couple of trialists. We'll probably play two teams in both games. And two completely different tests. One against the team who got promoted last year and back into the Championship, and they're going to be a decent force there. And we don't want to. We want to put up a good show in both games. So things to work on straight away, rather than just saying, well, if you're playing two local teams and you think, well, don't I just go and play your football? And we don't want to embarrass ourselves. We want to do as well as we can against Wolves. Probably it's something different than we're going to have to do against. Hopefully, we'll be able to do against Evesham. So, two different tests, but just like I say, it's all preparation towards August the 9th and beyond that.
And Wolves now, I suppose, is there any extra emphasis on that with the loss of the West Brom game as a high-profile match for the club, or is that more sort of financial than sort of playing side?
Listen, that's not my concern. We're up against it's Wolves' only game in the UK before they go to Ireland on Sunday, so I imagine they'll bring a decent contingent down with them anyway. They're well supported, we know that. The loss of the West Brom game has been, to be fair, it was a shared game. They were going to split it between us and Shrewsbury, so how many we'd have got, I don't know. So to have Bristol Rovers as a more than adequate replacement, probably a better game. Thinking about it, West Brom actually contacted us and requested the game. Playing against Premier League boys, sometimes you get a bit of a run around and you have to defend, and hopefully against Rovers, we'll be a bit more evenly matched and be able to enjoy the game a little bit more.
And Evesham on Saturday, it's become a regular fixture for Cheltenham pre-season, hasn't it?
I think with a new ground, I think it's good facilities. I like, Paul Collicutt does us a few favours throughout the season with his business, so I'm more than happy to go back there and take a side to Paul's place.
Obviously, you've had trialists in at the start of pre-season. Is it still a case of them being with you and just looking at them?
Yeah, the plan was to, for a couple of weeks to get at least a couple of games beyond this weekend, perhaps Rovers and maybe Leamington. That was always the plan, and that hasn't changed. Yeah, we're still looking. We still need 3 or 4 more. Whether that comes from within the group or whether that comes from elsewhere, we're still say down the line, but we're making lots of inquiries about lots of players at the moment.
I was going to ask the next question. The phone's still red hot then?
Yeah, I've got it on me. I'm waiting for a couple of calls back regarding a couple of players. I think the next couple are important, so I want to get them right. I think they're all important, but obviously I think they're vital now. The next couple that we're after.
Thank you, Mark.
Is one of them a goalkeeper? Is that something you? Because you obviously only got Trevor at the moment for the friendlies. Are we going to give the young lad a go?
I'm not bothered. Trevor, I'm not bothered about. We've got a young lad who played at Evesham last year, an Australian boy. I've got a couple of options that I'm just trying to get the best I can with. I want to push Trevor as much as I can, and I say there's a couple of different things that could happen, but I say I'm not in a desperate need to. We can take Harry from the 18s, or we can use Ben, the lad we've got on, we're having a look at. I'm not worried about that for the next couple of games, and so I want to get the best I can with what I've got.
Yeah, so if you name 2 different teams for these 2 games, how much sort of game time do you want to get each player for the first friendly?
I want as many to play 45 as they can. You know, obviously it depends on if everybody gets a game at the weekend. A couple probably won't get that, but I just want 2 45 minutes really. And you know, ideally we wouldn't start against Wolves, but it was the only date they had available, and you don't, you don't miss opportunities like that. You know, as I said before, they'll bring a crowd. Be a good, really good test for us. They're a team who I think will do really well in the Championship next year, and you want to have good relationships with them. So, you know, we've taken it on. It's going to be a hell of a first game for us, but it's not about the result. It's about the bigger picture. You know, to take some of the things on that we've been talking about in pre-season, as well as using it as a workout to just improve their fitness. You know, pre-season's not about results. It's about just learning and understanding the group, and then understanding what you're trying to do, and hopefully, you know, so we're not going to go gung-go against Wolves. We're going to try and, you know, we might have to do something slightly different, where we might have to go away in September, and we might have to go and dig something out, and you know, unfortunately that might be a game plan that we might just use just to get extremely well organised, you know, in such a short space of time. It'd be a good little test for everybody.
Yeah, Kieran Wallace obviously been at Forest. How are the other trialists have all come from non-league clubs? Are they settled in all right?
Yeah,
their own
they're good. Yeah, they've all got their own bits and pieces. I can go and get hundreds of trialists from different clubs. We've gone for young, hungry players, people with a point to prove, and that's where we've gone. You know, with a couple of our signings, you know, Lee Vaughan, Asa Hall. I think speaking to Stevie and some of the players that have been here last year, is that there's a desire and a hunger about the group that only can bode well for us, hopefully.
Yeah, is anything imminent, would you say? I know you're waiting on the phone calls, but is things getting close with certain players?
Yeah. A couple, but we just say, I want to get the next one right. I want to make sure that the next one comes in and helps us. Obviously, we're short defensively, so you know it tells you where I'm probably want to make sure I've got somewhere, making sure that we've got competition in all areas.
Yeah, and has the Oxford managerial situation affected the Grimes situation? Because they reported to be chasing him. Is that still a possibility for you?
I didn't even know that, John. Yeah, possibly. We just, like I said, we're not. I'm trying to get the next one right, and it's not a centre forward as we speak. But things will become clearer over the next, week or so.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, Mark.